Gun 9 on your side, live at 5, starts right now.
I'm going to commit to holding myself to the standard of service that Senator McCain exemplified, putting country before self, and always striving to do the right thing for Arizonans.
Governor Doug Ducey today tapping Martha McSally to fill the Senate seat once held by the late Senator John McCain. What this means for the future of Arizonans in the U.S. Senate. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Valerie Cavazos. Martha McSally did not win the November election to represent Arizona in the U.S. Senate, but she will still serve there, appointed today by Governor Doug Ducey. He says McSally's the best choice to fill the unexpired term of the late Senator John McCain. As 9 on your side's Craig Smith reports, McSally says she's ready to put a tough campaign behind her and work with her opponent.
McSally will be sworn into the Senate after Senator John Kyle resigns at the end of the year. The retired senator made it clear he would only fill John McCain's seat temporarily. When she is sworn in is important. Governor Ducey says Democrat Kyrsten Sinema will be sworn in first.
Well, of course, we are going to follow Senate rules. But I'm also going to respect the will of the voters. Senator-elect Sinema was elected to the office, and she's going to be sworn in first.
That timing would make Sinema the senior senator with priority for better office space, better seat location in the Senate chamber, and better committee assignments, though the fact Sinema's party is the Senate minority will reduce some of those privileges. The Senate race between McSally and Sinema was aggressive, but McSally says she is confident the rivals on the campaign trail can be allies for the good of Arizona.
The election's over, and the people have spoken, and I'm honored to have this appointment. And now for all of us, it's about moving forward, and it's about the challenges that we have as a state and as a country, and continuing to be problem-solving to make a difference for the people that we represent. And that's the approach that I'll take.
Democrat Dennis DeConcini represented Arizona for 18 years in the Senate. He says the fact McSally was appointed, not elected, should not reduce the respect she receives in the Senate.
Until recently, when I left Washington from the lobbying business, that's the way it was. Now, it may be a little toxic back there now. I'm not sure from what you gather in the news, but generally no. Now, it does affect your seniority and the possibility of getting on better committees.
DeConcini says McSally's experience in the House should help, but it will be an adjustment to move to the smaller, more personal atmosphere of the Senate. Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
The late senator's widow, Cindy McCain, tweeting after Ducey's announcement this afternoon, saying, "I respect Doug Ducey's decision to appoint McSally to fill the remainder of his term. Arizonans will be pulling for her, hoping that she will follow his example of selfless leadership."
In other news, the battle over what will happen with the property around the Benedictine Monastery continues tonight. The City Council is scheduled to discuss the size of the proposed development in Midtown. Neighbors and the developers have been at this for months now, and there are still many points to hash out.
There were two really big points of contention when this started: the size and demolition of the monastery. Demolition is off the table. We took care of that a few months ago. Now we're talking about size.
And so far, preserving the monastery, keeping it for public use, and scrapping the idea of the surrounding developments being student housing have been agreed on by both the developer and the neighbors. The council meeting is scheduled to start at 5:30 this evening.
In Nogales, an unfinished tunnel discovered today under the U.S.-Mexico border by Customs and Border Protection. Officials say it started close to the DeConcini port of entry and extended 44 feet into the U.S., ending under a parking lot on the U.S. side. There was no exit. Eventually, crews will fill the tunnel with concrete to seal it. Until then, CBP will continue to monitor the area.
Today, the White House suggesting that President Donald Trump is trying to avoid the partial government shutdown later this week. The biggest issue for lawmakers is funding to build a border wall, one of President Trump's campaign promises. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders today didn't commit to any specific plan to get that funding, but she said agency leaders are being consulted.
We're looking at every avenue available to us possible. The president's asked every one of his cabinet secretaries to look for funding that can be used to protect our borders and give the president the ability to fulfill his constitutional obligation to protect the American people by having a secure border. So we're looking at the other options.
Also today, Sanders indicated the White House could support a bipartisan Senate bill that funds Homeland Security and could avoid a shutdown. The White House has rejected the proposal earlier this year. They have not offered any clarification yet on the bill. Meantime, a new federal regulation officially bans bump fire stocks. The devices make it easier to fire rounds from a semi-automatic weapon by harnessing the gun's recoil to bump the trigger faster. Those who have them will have just 90 days to turn them in or destroy them from the date the final rule is published in the Federal Register. That is likely going to be this Friday.
The FBI is asking for the public's help in identifying a woman believed to have robbed banks across the Phoenix area. The Biddy Bandit, as she's called, pictured on your screen, has either robbed or attempted to rob at least 5 banks in a number of cities. The latest this morning at a Phoenix Chase Bank. She's described as a 5.5-foot woman in her 50s to 60s with a medium build. Anyone with information is asked to call the FBI's field office.
Time to talk a little weather. Ivan in for Kyler. A beautiful day again today.
You can see it, right? It's going to warm up a little bit more as we go on in the week. A little bit windy, but it was still a really nice day out there. We're taking a look at Sabino Canyon right there in the background. Going to get another shot here. Last little bit of the sun left as it sets. Looking at Midtown Tucson, looking west. Current conditions right now, we're at 62 degrees. We're going to cool off just a little bit more as we head into the evening hours. Some winds coming out of the north at 9 miles an hour. Right now in Nogales, we're at 57 degrees, 67 in South, 66 for Arauco. As we head into our overnight lows this morning, we hit 42 degrees, 35 in Nogales, 34 for Douglas. Our highs for today, we saw 65 degrees. We'll warm up a little bit more going into tomorrow. Again, 61 in Nogales, 59 in Douglas. A quick look into tomorrow. We're going to be hitting 69 degrees tomorrow. Sunny skies are expected. Coming up, we'll take a look at that 7-day forecast.
All right, Ivan, looking forward to it. Thank you. A call to action for parents, teachers, and health professionals from the U.S. Surgeon General. How the government plans to decrease the use of vaping by teens.
Plus, for those suffering from unrelenting chronic pain, opioids may not be beneficial to you. We'll explain coming up. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
The opioid crisis has had a devastating impact across the country.
Yeah, now doctors in one state are tackling the problem head on, starting with how they treat pain in the emergency room. The Swedish Medical Center in Colorado is taking part in an ALTO program. The goal is to help reduce the use of opioids in emergency rooms by using alternative pain treatment.
Now, we're around a 60% decrease in opioid usage. We've more than halved our use of these medications, and all by just adjusting how we control pain and using new medications and different medications.
Now they treat patients with medications like Tylenol and ibuprofen. For stronger pain, though, they use ketamine and lidocaine, which is often used in the dentist's office.
And a new study says opioids offer little chronic pain relief benefit and wane over time. The results come from a review of nearly 100 randomized trials published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The analysis found for adults with chronic pain, opioids offer narrow improvements over a placebo for pain and physical functioning on average. And those benefits also tend to decrease over time and come with risks of side effects like vomiting and constipation.
This has been in the news a lot. A warning today from the Surgeon General about the e-cigarette epidemic and his plan to fix it. He wants to enforce a minimum price or add taxes to keep them more expensive, saying that could stop teens from ever being able to get their hands on a vape and keep them from a lifetime of addiction. He also he wants states to license the shops that do sell e-cigarettes. That could hold sellers accountable when vapes end up in teens' hands.
Getting a look from Ivan at the forecast. Looks like those clouds we saw at the end of yesterday have pushed far to the east.
They're really starting to push all the way out far east or south. Coming up, though, if is there any chance of rain left in our forecast or by Christmas, we'll get that coming up.
And you've probably heard of the negative impacts of too much screen time. Coming up, information on a new program aimed to reduce that. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Now, first warning weather on KGUN 9 on your side.
You know, we need to make Christmas cards where, you know, it's like from Merry Christmas from Arizona, and then you see the cactus.
Oh, yeah. Shorts and flip-flops.
Shorts and flip-flops.
Out there.
And a cactus decorated with bulbs. Yeah.
You wouldn't be far off if you sent that Christmas card already.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Might
pretty
as well
accurate.
flaunt
to what we're
it,
gonna be
right?
seeing. Yeah. This day was actually really nice. We've been seeing those days warm up a little bit more as we go on. It's going to be the same thing. It has been a little windy this afternoon, though. You see that in the palm trees right here at Skycam as we look toward the Catalinas. Going in again to Sahuarita, you see the last little bit of sunshine left right there looking east. Current conditions right now, we're at 62 degrees, real nice out there. Again, it's pretty windy out there, not just in Tucson, but across southern Arizona. We are seeing some winds right now. As we head into those overnight hours, though, we're going to cool down still a little bit above average for our lows. We're going to be seeing 40 degrees tonight as we head into around 5 o'clock in the morning. Tomorrow in Tucson, we'll warm up a little bit more than today, 69 degrees around there. Sunny skies out there. Those clouds continue to move out, just like in that graphic right there. High temperatures today across the country, 57 for Denver, 56 in Albuquerque, 64 in LA. Now going up to the Grand Canyon right now, we're at 43 degrees. We're at 42 for Flagstaff, 68 in Phoenix, same for Yuma. When we look at our temperatures right now in Nogales, we're at 57 for them, 56 in Douglas, 65 in Ajo. Now, when we're talking our winds, we see 17-mile-per-hour winds in Safford, 12-mile-per-hour winds in Douglas, and 9 for both Tucson and Nogales. So it's been pretty busy when it comes to our winds this afternoon. They'll calm down a little bit as we head into those overnight hours. Now, when it comes to our rain, we're in the clear when it comes to these next few days going into this next week. Really, without all the little chances of rain that we had really moved out of the area, but we do have a chance of rain coming back, a small chance for Christmas Day. We'll get more into that coming up right now. Now, going into school weather, 42 degrees, some sunny skies out there for both going to school and coming back home. Calm winds out there. It'll be around 68 degrees as you head back home. I want to share this picture with you guys of Christmas lights. Barbara sent this to us today. We're going to continue to receive those pictures from you guys, hopefully, over these next few days, exactly a week away from Christmas. So send those pictures in. You can email them to us at share@kgun9.com. Also, tag us on any of our social media apps. Now, when we are taking a look into Christmas, we're going to look 68 degrees. It's going to be pretty nice out there. Taking a look at our Christmas Day, 68 degrees, a 10% chance of rain as we head into Christmas Day. And when we leave Christmas Day, going into the 26th, 27th, those chances of rain increased a little bit more, but it looks like it's just going to be a nice sunny day for Christmas. Going into our low temperatures this morning, we're going to see Douglas at 30 degrees, 33 for Bisbee, 34 in Sierra Vista. Ours kicks in right there for Tucson, 40 degrees, 35 for Tubac, 35 right there in Nogales, Coronado, Tucson, 42, Summerhaven, 32 degrees. High temperatures today, a little bit warmer than what we've been seeing over the weekend and yesterday. We're going to continue to warm up as we go in, 69 degrees for Tucson. We'll see that right here in our 7-day forecast. By Friday, the official start of winter, 78 degrees is what we're looking at. And again, by Christmas, we're at 68 degrees. Pat, Val?
All right, thank you, Ivan. You know, kids are about to go into winter break, lots of free time, TV, smartphones, tablets. Kids don't have to go far to find a screen.
No, they don't, but the rise in tech time is impacting children's basic motor skills. As ABC 15's Danielle Lerner shows us, occupational therapists are taking notice.
Grab it and then toss it. See if you can toss it in. Good job.
It's a busy afternoon at Way to Grow Pediatric Therapy in Chandler.
Red, green, blue.
Kids of all ages getting occupational, speech, and physical therapy in one of several fun but functional spaces.
If we want to have a kid that really can't handle the bigger environment with lots of noise and lots of things going on at the same time.
Owner Heather Baumgardner helps evaluate every child as soon as they come in and recently noticed a disturbing trend.
Over the last 5 years or so, we see a lot more kids coming in that are having problems with fine motor difficulties, coordination, a lot of postural strength difficulties and core strengthening.
Problems, she says, are consistent with too much screen time, manifesting in everything from a child's behavior and social skills to their handwriting and vision.
They're using their thumbs or fingers to swipe and they're looking at the iPad, but it's more two-dimensional. versus like a multi-dimensional or a three-dimensional, which affects their perception, their depth perception, looking from something close and up to a board.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is also tracking the tech trend. In 2013, 38% of U.S. children younger than 2 and 80% of 2 to 4-year-olds had used a mobile electronic media. By 2015, about 97% of kids had used mobile devices, and most started using them before the age of 1. Their recent report laid it out, saying the increase in screen time, quote, directly interferes with both play activities and parent-child interactions.
I see a lot more of that, having kids having challenges with just the eye contact and the social skills and reciprocal communication and sportsmanship.
So what's a parent to do? Well, the official recommendation is less than 1 hour per day for kids 2 years or older, and no screen time in kids 18 to 24 months old. But even Baumgartner admits that can be an unrealistic goal for today's busy families.
The main areas would be cutting back at least an hour before bedtime, and then also maybe putting them in a special place, like a media-free zone, to not have them while they're eating. Using them to build and engage more socially with each other, and then also the seating and the positioning for playing on the iPads.
Yeah, and when we were growing up, we were not allowed in the house. We were just told to go outside,
and play. We'll call you for dinner. That's what they told us.
All right, the holidays are a time for giving and receiving.
Coming up, how you can help an organization who's trying to make sure every child opens a gift on Christmas Day. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. The Salvation Army is making sure every child opens a gift on Christmas Day.
Yeah, this is nice. The organization's toy and food distribution begins this morning and runs until Thursday. The Salvation Army expects to hand out toys to around 4,000 children in need. And for those who wanted help, the nonprofit already handed out the distribution tickets in November. Families can cash in those tickets that started at 9 this morning. The Salvation Army began collecting toys in November at various toy drives across town.
Also happening today up in Marana, you can enjoy cookies, hot chocolate, and live music from the Marana High School Choir. It's all happening inside the municipal complex from now until 7 tonight. The celebration is meant to keep the holiday season rolling before the town council's meeting later on this evening. That'll put you in the Christmas spirit, won't it?
Yeah, they had me at cookies and hot chocolate.
I agree.
That's all I need. The Arizona Sonora Desert Museum is looking for some help.
How you can become part of a program that helps provide higher quality care for the creatures. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Have you ever wanted to be a proud parent of one of the animals at the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum? Well, now you can.
Yeah, pretty cool. You can be a proud parent to the museum's prairie dogs, javelinas, Gila monsters, Mexican gray wolves, otters, bats, or hummingbirds. The adoption is symbolic, of course, and it helps the museum provide higher quality care to the creatures. Mark and Whitney are not part of the deal, as you see in the video. There are 3 different adoption packages. Prices range from $35 to $75. Some of them are a photograph of that animal, recognition on the museum's website, and a personalized adoption certificate. They're really liking those arrays. There's some otters. I know.
I was going to say I was going to adopt Mark, but you know,
yeah,
after that look right there, I don't
he's
know.
okay. I think he's all by himself. They were having a good time.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you tonight at 6.